shed roof, so it's just going to go front to back, 16 inches on center, and we're going to lay it right up here using 2x8s. Now we'll use 2x6s, that's probably better. I'm going to change my color to red, and I'm going to turn on my ACS plane snap. Just remember to tell me to turn it off. Just kidding. I'll forget, I'm sure. I'm just going to take my Smart Line tool and just snap a line that follows along this edge. And I'm going to take my 7-4 tool and just extend that line out. I want to parallel this line with the height of a 2x6, which is 5.5 inches. So I'm going to take my parallel tool, 3-9, move parallel, make sure it says keep the original. I'm going to go in this direction. It's always going to go perpendicular just because we say parallel anyway. Hit colon 5.5. And that should do it. Now I'm going to draw a vertical line out here 1 foot from the face of the framing, and we'll go one foot overhang down here, and then all we're going to do is just tie these together with our 7-5 tool, trim 2 elements to their intersection all the way around. What happened there? There we go. And we're going to make a shape out of that using our 6-3 tool. Set it to automatic. 0 for our maximum gap, and just left click on one line, left click again, you'll see the entire thing highlight, and then left click one more time. You can see it basically shaded it in because we're in a illustration with shadows. Now let's rotate this to an isometric view, and there's our profile that we just drew here. Now turn off your ACS plane snap, please. Now we're going to extrude this a distance of weird because that's square based on the fact that we're at a 30-degree angle. It looks like it's square, but it's not actually, I don't believe. We're going to go to our extrude tool, R1. Just left click on this piece and hit S. We're going to extrude this colon 1.5. We'll roll this up to a top view. And there we can see our framing. We're just going to copy this, or actually move it, from this outside edge. I'll hit T for top. And I want to move it right to this outside edge. I hit the enter key as I'm coming down here so that it doesn't snap it to some odd location. So we're actually looking at this in isometric. Shouldn't have done that. Let me take a look at the front view. It's right there. Maybe I didn't hit the enter key quite fast enough. I don't know. Left click outside, hit enter. Pop it right there. Let's take a look at the isometric again. There, that's better. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy this just like we did the wall framing, 16 inches on center. So the first one is from the outside edge to the center point, 16 inches, because we're going to be laying sheathing on this 4x8. So we want to frame this one probably about, well, I can draw a line from this outside edge here, hit O, and S. We're going to come in 16. Just draw a vertical line here. So now I can copy this, hit enter, just bring it over. Once I'm at this point, then I can just copy, just grab it anywhere, pull it, colon 16, and let it index to that colon 16 all less than 16. So I'm just going to grab it by this outside corner, pull it down, hit enter, and lock it right there. Oops, guess I had move instead of copy, sorry about that. 3-1, enter. Let's look at it from the top view. Looks good. Rotate it to an isometric. And we can delete this little piece on the back. Normally we might have some bird's mouths on this, but in this case it will just be a simple toenailed roof framing, no overhangs on the side. We'll just run the sheathing right up. Now I'm going to go ahead and put a fascia board on the front, fascia front and back, and we probably won't do a soffit on this. We'll try to keep it as simple as possible. So I want to take my level manager, right click, say new. This one's going to be called 3D Fascia, F-A-S-C-I-A. F-A-S-C-I-A, that's your fascia. Make that the active level. And I'm going to change my color to something different. And all I want to do is just snap to the upper corner. We're going to snap to this corner. We're going to come down a distance of colon a little larger than, let's say, 6 inches. You know what? Because that's at an angle, it's probably not enough. So we'll back it up and say 7 inches. There we go. And then we'll seven. Now we're going to key this over. This will be a colon 0.75, so it'll be a 3/4 inch board. And I think if it works there, we can probably grab that right from this upper corner here. In other words, I want to grab it from this corner, because that corner, if I go to the back of the shed, should match up to this corner. So we actually do a fit view and kind of rotate this around. Now you can see how that fascia board fits on there nicely. Now, there's a bit of a gap there, so we'll trim that off later, but we've got the fascia boards on there. What we're going to do now is talk about our window and door framing that needs to go on the rough openings. And you may think that it's easier to probably put those windows and doors in the opening and then work on the framing, but what I'm going to do is something a little bit different. I'm going to put the head and the jamb on now, and then we'll place them in the openings along with the cut size. Now when we talk about windows and doors, we need to construct in the framing what's called a rough opening, and that rough opening needs to be slightly larger than the actual unit dimension of the window jambs, usually about 1/4 inch. So we're going to let's actually go to our wall framing section. I think we can draw those in there. I'll draw them in a different color though, so that they show up differently. Now we're going to go to our isometric view. Probably, let's try right isometric. Yeah, that's not going to work. Just see if I can rotate it around so I can see the window. And the door. Let's start with the door framing. We know that the stud is going to be right up against actually half inch from the edge of this frame. So one of the things we can do is actually start our box right here, and I'm going to try something a little bit different. Let me use something other than that red so it doesn't blend in too much here. If I hit a left and right mouse button right here, whoops, there we go, right on that corner of the frame, and hit O, First of all, I see which way my compass is going. It's in a side view, might even be front. Let's see, F, S, it's in a side view. I'm going to key in colon 0.25. Left click. So that sets me back. Oh, did it wrong, sorry. Hit O, I'm going back, colon 0.5, and then move it, hit your O again, and hit F, and we're going to pull it out a distance of, looks like it's off. I'm going to zoom in a little further. Left and right, O, hit S, coming back, colon 0.5, O, there we go, and hit F, and we're coming out, colon 0.25. We'll start our frame right here. Maybe that's why it was a distance angle. Trouble, I don't have any feedback here for the students. Colon 0.5, O, F for front, and colon 0.25. That's better. Now we're going to go with the width, which is colon 1, and then our depth is actually going to be the stud thickness, which is colon 3.5. We're just going to leave that right there. So it's just a block on the edge. Now, one of the things we can do now is just take our selection tool and select this object. Only I think we have to be in wireframe to do it. Go to wireframe and grab this object. I have to make sure I'm in this just selection individual so I can select this point. If you don't see these blue squares, you may have to click on this unit here, this little circle. That gives you your handle. So I can hit just left click on one of those and pull it straight up. And then we'll pull it straight down. You can hit enter, locks the axis, bring it right down to the bottom of the door jamb. Okay? This would be a rough opening stud that would fit in here. And we'll extend that further up because it's going to go all the way up to the roof. We may end up even deleting it if it happens to take the place of one of the other studs. And then we'll rotate this to a right side view. It's going to be a front view. There's our stud. You can see it's 1/4 inch out, so that's our rough framing. And we'll just mirror that to the other side using the vertical axis, make copy, left click on the jamb, and just find a center point on your door. Okay, there's 2 jambs for our door rough opening. Now we need to build a header. A header needs to support the weight of the roof. If it's spanning 3 feet, then we need to make sure that we've got enough support up there. If we have 2x4 stud framing that's 3.5 inches thick, then we can use 2 2x6s vertically, and then probably a piece of plywood inside. So our header will actually be 5.5 inches tall by the thickness of the stud, 3.5 inches in layers sandwiched together. We'll just draw it as a block. So I'm going to go back to an isometric view here. Let's see if we can do this a little quicker. I'm going to be lazy. I'm just going to take this block tool, the framing, and just snap to the top of these 2 studs. We're going to go colon 5.5 and then just make it the width. Now I built it up on the top, but we know we need to put it down near the door opening. So I'm going to go to front. We're going to pull this straight down. Hit enter, right to the top of the door. See that red is the top of my frame. I'm going to left and right mouse button right there and hit O and pull it up, colon 0.25, colon 0.25. thing we want to do is make a cut piece for this, and in other words, a shape that's going to cut out our rough opening from our existing framing. If I just trace out, I can actually turn off my 3D door. Find it. Window. 3D door. Turn it off. There's my framings now, so I can just look at that. And what we want to do is draw a shape. And I'm going to turn on my ACS plane snap. Remember to tell me to turn it off. I'm just going to draw a rectangular shape. We can do it orthogonally, so from this point down to this point, turn off ACS plane snap, go to an isometric view. You can see now that that sticks out beyond the door. So whenever we want to cut a door opening, we use this shape. It's already there. So now let's place the door in the opening so that we can start cutting things out that we don't need. We'll do the door first, and I want to put this door on the end wall over here. So let's turn our door back on. We can do it, 3D door. And we're going to turn on, select the entire door assembly, the jambs, and the cutout shape. And some of these things we don't need to see. We don't need to see the 3D roof framing. We don't need to see the fascia. We just can see the framing here. So we'll rotate this up in a top view first so we can get it positioned. Get it all selected, take the move tool, just left click and hit T for top. Zoom in here. And I want to put the door pretty much in the center of the building here. Just pull it somewhere close here. We know these studs should match up, so if I take this tool, grab it right here, pull it in, and hit enter, lock it to the inside of the stud, should be right there. You can see how that lines up now. Now let's pull it vertically, look at it in a front view. There's our door. You can see it needs to come down, and it needs to set right on the bottom of this piece here, because we're going to have floor sheeting on the inside of that. So we're going to come down, hit F, hit enter, straight down, drop that right onto the top of that door frame. So you can see we've got some extra studs in here now. Some we need, some we don't. A couple things, we need to pull this jamb up because we're on this sloped roof, so I can just select it, pull it straight up, hit enter, above the roof. We'll cut that out later. Let's rotate this to an isometric and zoom in on the door. So I know I'm going to cut this stud with this shape, and we want to keep the shape, so we want to say keep the profile. Let's cut this stud both directions with this shape, takes it out. We know we need to cut this stud, this shape. We need to cut the sole plate with that shape for our rough opening. And let's see. Let's take a look at any others in this front view. You can see the studs in the back, so those don't really count. You can see that these two need to come up to the top of the header. So we grab this, pull it straight up, hit enter, just lock it here. We're not grabbing the full height one, we're grabbing this one. Another way to do this would be to open up a second view as a top view, kind of minimize it, kind of keep it up here to the side. the stuff on this front wall. So I can hit my set display depth, left click in this front view, come over here and just say I want to see between this point and this point. And that way all the studs that are in the background will disappear, so it gives me a cleaner vision of what I'm looking for. The other thing you need to realize when you do that is you need to set your Z depth so that you're within that view area. Otherwise, when you draw a line, it won't show up. The Z depth tool, it's shut off here, but it's set active depth. This is Z with the arrow. If I just left click here and left click in the front view, you can see there's my display depth. So I want to make sure my lines are somewhere within that view. So when I start drawing, I'm going to turn on this ACS plane snap. Pull this up. Whoops. There we go. Oh. Pull down the shift key. There we go. And we're going to draw a shape so we can cut these two studs. We'll turn off the ACS plane snap. See, I'm getting in the habit. We'll do a cut solid. We want to keep the profile because we need to cut both of these. See right here we got one we've got to cut with our framing tool. So we're going to take our cut solid tool. We want to cut this one. Oh, I got a shape there that'll work with it. So, oh, it's because I got the. If you do a fit view again, it'll take that. Gives you back your shape. So now we'll take cut solid. It's this stud right there. Cut up that shape. I think we can actually take this shape out of here now. We don't really need it. Roll it back to a front view. We'll do our set display depth again. So you can see where we're at. We know we need to pull this frame up to the header. And some of this is kind of a waste of framing. I don't need this shape anymore. We'll take that out. We left a ½ inch space between the face of the stud. That's how we set that rough opening up. So we actually look at this in a illustration with shadows now. We'll do a fit view so we can see everything and rotate it around. You can see our framing is now in place for that door. Okay. What else did we have? Did we create the floor sheathing here? It just turned off. Floor sheathing. Yep, there it is. So you can see that fits in there good. 3D fascia. Don't need the building shape, roof framing. So we're really starting to get a nice detailed construction drawing of our building. We still need to put the exterior sheathing on, but before we do that, I want to see, was the last thing I did. I want to keep that shape. The reason I want to keep it is because we're going to use it to cut through our sheathing later on. So now I can take this out. Just need to go back to my front view. We're going to roll this up to, change it to wireframe. Grab this stud right there, the short one. Bring it straight up. I already did this, but okay. So we've got our door in place now on one end. Sometimes if things look like they disappear a little bit, I'm going to minimize this top view because I don't really need to see that anymore. And we're going to go do the same thing now with our window, and that's to build a rough opening frame. We can actually take the blue from here, save some time, and O, and just pull it back, colon 0.25. That way we leave that 1/4 inch gap for our rough opening. Same thing on this side. Left click, hit enter, roll it in. Notice I went with the inside edge. Left and right, hit O, I have to pull down here, colon 0.25. You can see now my header is off a little bit up here on the top, so I'm going to grab this one, pull it in, hit enter, just hit N for nearest. Left click here, grab one of the blue squares, pull it in, hit enter, this one. Now my header's in the right spot. Now I need a sill on the bottom. The sill is going to be just a two 2x4s. If we're really lazy, I'll just copy this one down, hit enter, left and right, hit O, we're going to move it down, colon 0.25. Now that 1/4 inch is what we use for shimming, so we can square the window up in the framing. So now we can see this. We know that this is 5.5 inches tall, and we want it to be 2.5 inches thick pieces, so it only needs to be 3. So I'm going to move this up, just grab it, get some handles, move it straight up. You can see how it shrinks it here. I'm going to move it up, colon 1.5. That's not right, 3 inches. I got to measure this thing, figure out what it is. Measuring tool, here to here, 5.5 inches, colon 3, 2.5 inches, that's what we need to shrink it up, sorry, can't add, colon 2.5, so that's the sill of the window. We're going to have a little bit more cutting, and grab this one, just extend it up, because these, we'll extend them up a little bit further, because these are going to be on the front of the building. We're going to put 2 windows on the front of the building, so do a 5th view, isomet, let's go to a top view. Actually from right here we can set the height on it. We'll just select the whole thing, windows and all, and I want to bring this stud down to the bottom. So I'm just going to move this straight down, hit enter, we'll lock it right onto the top of the sheeting. Actually, I think you want to pull that up on top of that sole plate right there. That's what we want. Okay, now let's roll it to a top view. You can see I've got that grid pattern on, so we're going to turn that off. We're going to rotate this around using 2 points. Just pull it around this way. Go straight down. Put one right there. You can see I'm almost perfect. Pull it in, hit enter, just lock it right to right there. Look at it in an isometric view. If I do a 5th view, it gets rid of that extra stuff. Good. I didn't draw my shape in there, so I'm going to have to do that now. Go to a right side view. And all I'm going to do is turn on my ACS plane snap, do a rectangle, and go into the outside of my blue framing right from here to here. Turn off the ACS plane to select individually this piece, hold down the control key, this piece, hold down left and right, get the whole window. And I just want to pull that whole thing down from this point, straight down, hit enter, lock it to the top of the frame on the door. That way the door and the frame height will all be the same. I guess I missed this. Pull it back up so we got this piece. Control this piece, this piece. Control that piece. There we go. And now I'll move it down. Hit enter. Lock it right to this space. Down here on the bottom, we're going to take this and pull it up to the top of the sole plate. Same on the other side. We didn't do this on the door because the door cuts right through the sole plate. Start looking at the top, cut those off. Those are actually going to be angle cuts, I think, so we'll cut those off in the other direction. And let's start cutting our window opening out. We'll look at this in an isometric view. Do a fit view here, and let's see if we can do this with it in an illustration mode so we can see the studs get cut out a little easier. Take our cut solid tool, make sure it says keep the profile. We're going to take that stud, cut it with this shape. We're going to take this stud, cut it with that shape. I think that one's right on top of the other one, so I think that one we can just delete. Perfect. So it's doubled up on one side. We'll roll it to a front view, or excuse me, right side view, and bring up our view 2 again. And this time, looking at it in this right side view, I'm going to say I only want to see between set display depth. This view, I only want to see between this point and that point. So you see you get rid of all those excess pieces. If I look at it in wireframe, you can see that I need to take this stud, pull it up, hit enter, top of the header. This may seem like we're being really fussy, but it's actually good construction practice and good CAD practice to be a little finicky on these types of things, just because they look good when they're done. You can see this one needs to be pulled up to the top of the header. Now let's rotate this around to a front view. Do a fit view. You can see up here now, these are our 2 studs. We need to draw a shape in here to cut those. So we'll turn on our ACS plane snap, go to our smart line tool, draw a new shape around those, turn off the ACS plane snap, and we'll do a cut solid. First this blue one, this blue one. I don't think we're going to need the do a fit view, isometric. I'm going to keep that shape for a while, but if we turn on all of our levels now, roofing, I need the building shape on it, and render this in an illustration, you can start to see that we're getting our window, our door, our roofing, all the framings in place. I'd like to add another window on this shapes